Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the special 5-part anniversary series celebrating 5 years and more than 250 episodes of She Thinks Big. And if you've been following along, in the past 3 weeks, we've already talked about priorities, beliefs, and team, which I would say are the foundations of growth. 3 themes that have permeated all of the work I have done over the last almost 8 years, but 5 years in the podcast. And today we're going to dig into systems and why structure isn't really a cage. Some people think of it as confining, but I would argue that systems are the key to freedom. All right, so let's go back, way back in the day. When I started my business, my system was me. I was the system, and maybe a notebook. And I had an iPad with one of those attached keyboard kind of things. And everything lived either in my head, in the notebook, or sometimes it made its way to the iPad. So client appointments, podcast ideas, which I hadn't even started a podcast yet, but I already had ideas, billing reminders, coaching notes, lots of coaching notes. In the beginning, I took lots of notes. I took photographs of all of the work we would do on a dry erase board because I used to use a dry erase board a lot when coaching. So I would have files of photos. And this all worked until it didn't. And then one day I realized that if I got sick and my laptop died or someone asked, "Where's that file?" no one would know. Because my systems weren't systems at all. They were kind of like memory and muscle. And systems that live in your own head, they don't help your team. I'm going to say that the systems that live in your head, they actually hold your team hostage. And that was a moment I decided that structure had to become a value in my business. Not just a nice to have. So let's dive in, and I'm going to share with you 6 lessons that 6 kind of almost things I've learned that I want you to know before I did. I want you to know. I don't want it to take you 5 years to figure this out, which is another reason you need to go download the 5 Leaps in 5 Years at AndreaLiebross.com/5. It's outlining all of these lessons and all the lessons in all 5 of these anniversary episodes. But let's get back to today's work about systems. And lesson 1, systems aren't just software. So when most people hear systems, they think software, automation, CRMs, project management tools. And yes, all of that matters. But systems are more than tech. They're thinking tools. They're the invisible scaffolding, really, that makes your business and your life run on purpose. In my book, I talk about 4 types of systems that create real freedom. I have a whole chapter about systems. If you do not have a copy of She Thinks Big, the book, you need to go to Amazon right now and get yourself a copy. I'll have a link in the show notes. But the 4 types of systems that I think create real freedom are people systems, software systems, thinking systems, and decision systems. And let's walk through each one. Let's walk through first the people systems. People systems are the who behind the how. They include team structures, which we talked about on an episode right before this. They include communication, I'm going to call it rhythms, and accountability loops. Your weekly meetings, your Voxer channels, and your workflows, they make sure your business can function and grow even when you're not in the room. And sometimes you're afraid to let go of someone in your business because you're scared the system would break without them. And that's normal. I feel that way sometimes. But if your business crumbles when one person leaves, you don't have a people problem. You have a system gap. The stronger your systems, the more freedom you and your team have to evolve. So that's lesson 1, people systems. Lesson 2, Software systems. These are the tools that make your processes consistent and efficient. For me, that's ClickUp for project management, Dubsado for client workflows, Slack for team communications, Metricool for social content. I use Kit for email marketing. I use a lot of things, and each tool supports the business, but no tool replaces human thinking. Software is really only as strong as the process behind it, and the process is just a system in motion. So sometimes people talk about systems and processes. The process is just the system in motion. So it's not that the automation isn't valuable, but automation doesn't create clarity. It kind of just magnifies whatever clarity or chaos already exists. So let me go back. Lesson 1 was systems aren't just software. Lesson 2, the importance of people systems. And lesson 3, software systems. Okay? And really think about that. Software is only as strong as the process behind it, because the process is the system in motion, which brings us to number 4, lesson 4, thinking systems. Thinking systems help you organize your brain and approach problems consistently. They're the frameworks you use, like my trust framework, which I shared with you in a recent episode, or the framework of vision, goals, actions, beliefs. Then you use that one to process your ideas and evaluate challenges and decide what matters most. So here's why this matters. Your brain likes systems. Systems feel predictable and comfortable and safe, and your brain thrives on predictability. That's why the unknown feels so uncomfortable, because it doesn't yet have a system for it. So the unknown, our brain doesn't have a system for it yet. So when you create thinking systems, you give your brain structure to lean on instead of spinning in overwhelm. Coaching in a way, knowing that you have coaching calls or access to me, is giving your brain structure, right? Which is why I think coaching is so valuable. It helps to move you out of that overwhelm. Inside the activator, one of my coaching offers, this is exactly what we do. We build thinking systems for making decisions, taking action, and following through. Because when your brain knows the process, it relaxes. And that's when the creativity and clarity and momentum kick in. Which brings me to lesson 5, decision systems. Decision systems really keep you from getting stuck in indecision. They're your filters for what to say yes to and what to say no to and what to prioritize next. And this includes your values filter, your cost versus investment framework, your strategic decision guide. These are all things I've shared on previous episodes, because when you have clear decision systems, you don't need to rethink everything every time. You can trust your process, and so can your team. And that's how you scale, not by doing more, but by deciding faster and smarter. So this brings me to lesson 6. Structure creates freedom. People often resist systems because they fear losing flexibility. But structure doesn't restrict you, it releases you. It releases you from the mental clutter. It releases you from decision fatigue. It releases your team from guessing. Systems really protect your energy so you can use it where it matters. You want to use your energy for strategy and creativity and leadership in life. You don't want to use it on constant decisions or guessing or mental clutter. And let's be real, as moms, if you're a mom, we already live by systems. Morning routines, carpool plans, after school snacks, bedtime rituals, they're all just systems, and they make your household run. So those same principles can make your business run too. So here is your Think Big homework, your hell yes action items. We're doing a systems check-in this week, and all of these you can find written down for you at AndreaLiebross.com/5, F-I-V-E. So go download them. But here we go. I'm going to share them with you. Number 1, audit your systems. Write down what exists and what's still just in your head. Number 2, Label each system, each one under the 4 categories. Is this a people system, a software system, a thinking system, or a decision system? And then number 3, ask yourself, if I went to Tahiti on Friday, would this business still run? If I stepped away for a week, would it still run? If you say no, then we don't have enough systems and processes in place. And number 4, I want you to choose one system to strengthen this month. Maybe it's your client onboarding, your team meeting rhythm, or your decision filter. What system can you strengthen this month? Small adjustments create huge relief. So here's what I know now. 5 years and 250 plus episodes later, here's what I know. Systems don't replace your creativity. They don't. They just protect it. They make your business resilient and your brain peaceful. And they give your team clarity and confidence. This is what I've found. I cannot be creative if I don't have systems in place, because I know that other things are getting taken care of. And yes, sometimes it's scary to change people and platforms or processes because you fear the systems will break. But real systems don't break, they evolve. And when your systems are clear and shared, your business can grow without chaos. So if you're realizing it's time to create systems that actually work for your business and your brain, this is exactly what we do inside my coaching programs. It can be a private coaching partnership, the Activator Intensive, Ascension Collective. We help you design systems for thinking, deciding, and taking consistent action. Because when your brain has a system, it feels calm. And when your business has one, it grows. So let's figure out what systems will work for you and your business and your brain. And we can do that on our clarity call. I'm happy to do that with you. Instead of just listening to me here on this podcast, how about you let me help you? Go over to AndreaLiebross.com/consult or grab a link in the show notes, book the clarity call. Let's figure out this stuff for you, because structure really doesn't stifle you. It does create some freedom. Okay, friends, next week we're going to wrap up this 5-part anniversary series with money, how to think about it, how to manage it, and how to multiply it without guilt or grind. Because if systems create structure, then money creates stability, and systems plus money together, they create growth. You need the people too, and we need the belief. All of these things together, that's what's going to create the growth. So make sure you are subscribed to She Thinks Big. Share this episode with a friend who is ready to simplify and scale. And come back next week for our final episode in this 5-part series as a celebration of our 250th episode. Okay, friends, I will see you next week. Keep thinking big.